The final critical moments before they hit the wall of noise that awaits. And there are plenty, particularly on the left of your picture, who've done this many times before, but the Wembley walk never loses its luster. It never becomes routine. It is always special.
Wembley Stadium, please get a welcome your teams. Nottingham Forest and Manchester City.
Well, their game this season has been rewriting the history books. Nottingham Forest, the first team ever to win 3 penalty competitions in one FA Cup campaign. Manchester City extending their record streak, a 7th successive semi-final. Pep Guardiola dismissing the notion that experience counts. We shall see. The Forest support certainly producing more in terms of atmosphere. And they hope that this is not their only day out at Wembley this season. Well, the team sheets give us answers, of course, but they also provoke questions. The headline is the inclusion of 18-year-old Zach Abbott for only his 3rd senior appearance, possibly at right-back with Nico Williams suspended, or potentially as part of a centre-back trio with Dominguez at right wing-back. Callum Hudson-Odoi comes into the 11 with Anthony Elanga benched on his birthday. With homegrown hero Ryan Yates suspended, the last man standing from their last visit here is Harry Toffolo, who was in the opposition lineup when they vanquished Huddersfield in the Championship playoff final 3 years ago. Well, Pep Guardiola also leaves us guessing with Rico Lewis and Mateus Nunes in the same lineup. One or t'other will operate at right back or in midfield respectively. 3 changes from what Villa hoped would be a cup final rehearsal in midweek. Lewis in, Grealish and Savino likewise. James McAtee heartbreakingly suspended, having been ineligible 2 years ago when Sheffield United came here. Gundogan and De Bruyne also on the bench. Well, there was a time for Forest fans when Wembley visits were an annual event, even a biannual event in the heady days under Brian Clough. And Nuno today becoming only the 2nd Forest manager since the greatest of them all to lead a Nottingham Forest team out here at the home of English football. The FA Cup eluded the great man, of course. The black and white age is where you have to head for their last taste of cup final success way back in 1959. Manchester City's exploits extraordinary in recent years, like their resources. Pep Guardiola only experiencing FA Cup defeat 6 times out of 46, but 4 of those at this stage. Morgan Gibbs-White leading Forest into battle. And it promises to be exactly that. Well, there are a few things they did not achieve in tandem, and it was a managerial duo. Give them that distinction, in many ways pioneering in that respect. Even Manchester City have not yet got their hands on the European Cup twice. Final messages to be heeded. Final words that may ring forever in the ears of these groups of players. If not now, when? For Nottingham Forest. Manchester City hoping to add to an extraordinary streak of success. 59 points separated these two teams in the Premier League last season. Only one now. And they are equals here on the Wembley stage for a semi-final occasion full of atmosphere and difficult to call, given Forest Andy Townsend are the last team to beat Manchester City only a few short weeks ago.
Yes, indeed, Dan. Pleasure to be here. Really looking forward to this. Always a high-pressure, high-stakes game, an FA Cup semi-final, and I witnessed that Forest win, and they were well worthy of it on the day. City, since then, we know have got better, and Forest have found it a little tough trying to maintain their status in the elite group at the top of the English Premier League. So they're going to have to replicate what they did back in early March today if they're to have a real occasion to remember.
The early signs are, as we did speculate which way round it would be, that it's Lewis in midfield for City.
Yes, indeed. Rico Lewis has just picked up that position in midfield and leaving Matheus Nunes to get forward up and down the right-hand side. As for Nottingham Forest, Zach Abbott, such a young lad, and with only just a few games under his belt, he's in at that right-back position.
Well, he's not yet played 90 minutes of first-team football. Incredible. Across his two previous appearances. Ola Aina injured, Nico Williams suspended. A full-back presence hard to come by, but it's an occasion to write your name into the history of the club. Lewis feeding Savinho, who's moved inside. Kovacic trying to make inroads, and Lewis with an early chance! And a special start for Manchester City, who know a thing or two about quick goals in the FA Cup at Wembley.
Manchester City.
Well, we wondered where he'd pop up when his name appeared on the team sheet, but he certainly popped up in the right place there.
Well, he certainly has. He's got his team off to the flying start that they needed. Brilliant strike from Rico Lewis. Mateo Kovacic does great here. Sees a little pocket of space, drives into it, and he's just surrounded there by red shirts, but none of them are within closing down distance. Too much room for any player. And Rico Lewis, not one normally for applying a finishing touch, does it perfectly there, right on cue. Takes a decent first touch through those outstretched legs. Matt Sells, no chance whatsoever.
Well, delight for their famous followers. And quite a way back already for Nottingham Forest. Their penalty shootout hero left completely bereft without any hope at all.
Yeah, no surprises, Dan, that Forest will sit off City and allow them to have the ball here. The pressure I think they'll apply, certainly at this stage of the game, still a long way to go, will be just gentle, shuffling side to side, just trying to deny City as they get up the park. But they didn't do that there. They didn't close doors, they didn't get in people's faces. They allowed Rico Lewis to turn and strike one beautifully in the corner.
Guardiola getting comfortable again in his preferred position as a centre-back.
We can see Nico O'Reilly and Matheus Nunes. Nick O'Reilly at the top of your picture, able to push forward because Kovacic can step between the other two centre-halves. Here's the other right-back.
Making inroads again. He's feeding Savinho, and another menacing moment for Forest to cope with. Murillo did. Kovacic, a player who needs a bit of a change of fortune in this competition after his record of heartbreak at the sharp end. Here's Grealish, who has got his hands on it.
making as much use of this pitch as they can, City. Really stretching. Those fullbacks have got chalk on their boots, literally running up and down the touchlines. That then gives Bernardo Silva, Grealish, Kovacic the room that they need to start to get City moving forward.
Free kick secured by Chris Wood. He's making his first FA Cup start of the season. Right old tangle there involving Gibbs-White and Guardiola.
Amazing, you know. These Forest players over the last few days will have really honed in tactically on exactly the way they're going to go about it, and all of a sudden, bang. Literally within seconds, you're one down. But the game plan doesn't change. It will be the same, certainly for a bit. Now, unless City really start to dominate and look like adding to the one that they have, then Nuno won't change anything at all. He'll just encourage his players to stay in the game, get a little bit tighter, wait for the moment to turn the ball over, counter-attack really quickly, particularly with Hudson-Odoi. The one caveat to that, Dan, is that this is a big pitch, and these are energy-sapping, leg-sapping occasions. They really are. So chasing a game as early as the first couple of minutes, far from ideal.
And those who've travelled from Nottingham and the surrounding area doing their best to lift them. Playing in their first FA Cup semi-final for 34 years, as I'm sure you've heard, back in the days of the fixture being played on club grounds. West Ham then of the second tier, the team they beat quite handsomely. Although their cause helped by, at the time, a very controversial red card for West Ham's Tony Gale. Lewis looking to make a break from midfield. Kovacic on the ball. Now Ruben Diaz. Guardiola. Bernardo Silva. Able to go on and on there, and at least a hopeful shout.
Again, just a little too much room. Bernardo Silva making full use of that, seeing that little pocket of space, runs forward, that's off the chest. If Danilo, no problem.
Additional scrutiny of VAR. The VAR team led by Andy Madley today in place since the previous round. And picked up here by Ruben Diaz. Anderson harrying. He's already had a happy day at Wembley this season. Elliot Anderson in the stands, watching his beloved Newcastle United win the League Cup. It's much work to do for it to be another day to remember for the right reasons for it. Lewis. Kovacic able to wriggle away from Dominguez. And by hook or by crook, Forest get it away from harm.
I don't think Forest have had a kick yet. I mean, we're approaching 10 minutes. I don't think they've had 2 or 3 passes. They've just been shuffling around, chasing after blue shirts. Mateo Kovacic there, skipping through a couple of really static-looking defensive setup. And he just breezes past them and very nearly in a position to get that shot away.
90% of the ball so far. Sells able to paw it away, but not bring relief for an already rattled Forest. Gibbs White looking to bring some calm, some order and some inspiration. Anderson.
Yeah, they need to keep it for a bit. Just get a feel of the ball and don't have to go searching for an equaliser immediately. Great if they can find an opportunity to do so, but this is where they've got to be careful.
Kovacic so alive, Danilo less so. Marmoush to Grealish. And they've got to be careful with their challenges, Forest. And, well, that's dealt with by Toffolo. But they're getting pinned deep in their own half.
Yeah.
Free kick in Manchester City's favour.
Started really well, City, haven't they? Really bright and confident looking in possession. And more importantly, looking forward. I think there have been times this season in particular, more than any I can remember, but where sometimes they've been a little slow, predictable in their play. But that's certainly not the case this afternoon. They've started really well.
Something different about them since they collectively returned from the last international break. It will be Marmoush, and that's about the first disappointing thing City have produced in the opening 9 on 12 minutes. A bit of a let-off for Forest.
Yeah, see, they just can't keep it for long enough, Forest. That's why I think they're maybe just in too much of a hurry. Just need to just try and relax when in possession.
Kovacic is so often finding space and time. Grealish looking to make an inroad. Turn back safely to Sells, and well, may just pause for thought for a moment and allow them to get their collective head together. Anderson calling for it over on this near side, and where Sells is dwelling. And Silva making club record 20th Wembley appearance in Manchester City colours today. There's so many that would settle for just the briefest of tastes.
Yeah.
He's been here with Monaco as well and scored in the Champions League against Spurs. Marmoush, Grealish. Well, unhappy pair looking on. Ryan Yates on the left, Nico Williams on the right. Ryan Yates, who was effectively the match winner when they came here in the game with the highest financial stakes, the Championship playoff final, forcing a goal through force of will. The Huddersfield own goal booking their place in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola's team have this semi-final already in a grip that is vice-like. Anderson. Gibbs White. The boot of Savino. And Forest making, from their perspective, some very welcome progress.
They certainly are. Trying to get those guys in the game as often as they can. Key players, Morgan Gibbs-White and Callum Hudson-Odoi. No Anthony Elanga, of course. He's on the bench.
Yes, biggest game thus far of Forest season. It's his birthday, and he's benched. Gibbs-White. Grealish. Prod for Marmoush. What a prospect for Abbott. Grealish. Marmoush, space opening up. Well, it was an invitation.
Yeah, nice combination play, Marmoush and Grealish. He can hit him, this guy. We know that, we've seen that. Since he's been at the club, not afraid to shoot from distance. One of the few that actually do for City. The goal today, Rico Lewis from outside the box. And Jack Grealish probably enjoying that more central role. I think there have been times when he's played off that left side and just got a little predictable, his game. I'm a huge admirer of what Jack Grealish can bring to a team. And in that position where he is today, I think he could be really useful for Pep Guardiola there.
Here's Abbott getting a feel of the ball high up the pitch. And he'd been playing right back in development football, both for club and for country. Dominguez to Danilo.
Very well played.
With great calmness and authority, negotiating that potential hurdle, and Mateus Nunes can bring the ball away. The first pass, anything resembling looseness from Bernardo Silva. Kovacic turned it into a decent one. Lewis. Grealish. Riley well forward. All the attributes to be a really good attacking left back, but it's a position he's adapting to still. And he's involved again. Kovacic picking a pass. Comes off Lewis, the goal scorer. Anderson trying to get away, but the pack was quickly hunting. Savino.
Yeah, haven't got long in there, have you, on the ball? Right in the middle of the park. You take 2 or 3 touches, someone's going to pinch it off you. You've got to get your head up very quickly in there.
Had to get that right, Toffolo. And absolutely did. Signed almost immediately from Huddersfield after Forest beat them in the playoff final here. Bernardo Silva's delivery. Sells is in difficulty there. Found himself pinned. Bernardo Silva back in there. And now they can sound the all clear. Kovacic is playing a large part in City's dictating of this football match.
Yeah, he's the one as well that is at the base. He's the pivot right in the centre of midfield for Manchester City, so he will always be probably first port of call. Whoever has the ball and they're keeping it on the move, invariably Mateo Kovacic finds it.
Stolen back by Bernardo Silva. The groans and the feeling of anguish growing amongst the Forest supporters. But great industry from Elliot Anderson. And Gibbs White trying to get away. Wanted a free kick. Michael Oliver will not oblige.
He tried to turn there. Morgan Gibbs White not happy there. Felt that he was impeded. I'm not so sure. Again, City have got that real urgency in winning the ball back as soon as they concede possession or Forest turn it over. The blue shirts are after it.
Gift for Wood, who's been very much on the periphery. The searching ball certainly didn't find anything of note. Potential for Anderson on the turn. And Ruben Diaz reacted like lightning.
Yeah, he was right on the line there, Elliot Anderson, of perhaps being offside, but just for a split second there was, I think, maybe an opportunity. Had he just let that run and just turned, he might have been able to get a shot away. As it was, Ruben Diaz nice and quick and alert. Just mops it up. As the game gets stretched, Forest will have better opportunities. What's really important for them is they do not concede a second in this period when I think everybody coming here, most certainly Nuno, would have expected what we're witnessing right now with City on the ball up on the halfway line. Of that, there's no doubt. It's what Forest do with it when they get it, and their possession stats might be in the 30s today. It doesn't matter, it's what they do, it's what they can create significantly when they get that ball.
They might do well to get it in the 30s.
Yeah, they will. You're probably right.
They have made a notable move to try and get a hold of Kovacic's influence. And not on this occasion, but you saw Chris Wood fan out to the left and Anderson and Hudson-Odoi trying to get around both Kovacic and Bernardo Silva to make it more difficult for City to get them on the ball. But get on the ball they will.
Yeah. They're not afraid to receive it when they're marked or in tight areas. They do that every day of the week. That's good pressure. That's good pressure, that, from Chris Wood. Just sort of stepped away and then immediately rushed Stefan Ortega and forced him into that error.
That's called leading from the front.
Yes. Yeah, good play.
And he's done so in exceptional fashion this season, Chris Wood. One short of 20 goals for the campaign. His best season in terms of numbers since he bagged 27 goals for Leeds United 8 seasons ago. A season when Leeds did not even reach the Championship promotion playoffs. Toffolo. Anderson. Toffolo. Anderson getting involved. He wanted a foul and he'll get it. Ruben Diaz disbelieving.
Yeah. Just always a little late in getting to that, Ruben Diaz. Now, from these sort of situations, they do need to take some care.
The owner taking a different vantage point just for now. First real window of opportunity. Murillo over this free kick. They've got some great targets in there, but an offside flag will negate any potential of threats in the second phase.
Yeah, it looks like it was Milenkovic that actually met that. Murillo free kick that was just clipped in nicely. City holding their line. Just went a little early.
These are the kind of risks that Manchester City accept and usually avoid. But Forest have a bit of momentum now.
Yeah, again, one pass too many there. They'd already got out. Mateus Nunes turned back in to trouble. Needed to switch that. Change the point of direction. Yeah, and for the first spell in the game, Forest playing in City territory, albeit without working the goalkeeper yet. That's the next objective, but it's slowly got better for them.
Industrious from Bernardo Silva. Gibbs White vocal in the middle in his frustration there as Forest waste possession.
Yeah, I think Matt Sells got his hand up over his face. The sun is actually shining very brightly in the Forest in their own 18-yard box. And I think the goalkeeper there, when he took that on his right side, probably looked up and didn't see a lot. And just in the end decided to get rid of it.
Kovacic gets there. Almost like they fired the starting gun there for Marmoush. He was off, and now he'll be fed by Nico O'Reilly. Bernardo Silva. Savino clearing the way here for Mateus Nunes. He has the better of Anderson here. It's beyond the head of Grealish, though. But again, no respite for Forest. And O'Reilly through a couple of challenges. And unleashing the shot, a player that has come of age on the FA Cup stage this season.
Yeah, great play from Nico O'Reilly there. Twice offering a little pirouette to avoid those red shirts, and then again just fancied having a little dip. It's well wide, it's never a problem, but good play from him. He's shown plenty of promise, hasn't he, from what we've seen of Nico O'Reilly already this season.
Clearly daunted by nothing. I mean, a senior debut here.
Yeah, that's
in the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Oh, to be young again, Andy.
Young and good, that helps as well, Dan.
Yeah, well, managed one of them anyway. Here's Bernardo Silva. Ortega, the cup duty shared this season. Ederson starting against Bournemouth in the previous round and against Salford. Savino on for Mateus Nunes. Yet another situation of promise. And Forest grateful that's all it was. And here is Anderson. Hudson-Odoi has some room to work with here, but the flag up for offside.
Yeah, that's a waste. Callum Hudson-Odoi wanted it a little bit quicker. Elliot Anderson couldn't find him, and then he went square watch. You can see Hudson-Odoi just lowering the screen, and he's thinking it might come there from Danilo. In the end, it's miles offside.
You know how he's feeling.
Yes, he's come rather casual today, if you don't mind me saying, Mr. Marinakis.
Was the arbiter of all things sartorial. That's well worth noting. Riley's on the charge again. Here's Lewis. That Savino wants to try and work it onto his favoured left foot in those situations. Forewarned, forearmed. O'Reilly.
Excellent work again.
Mateus Nunes. Kovacic. Grealish. And control is virtually absolute. Oh, delightful from Savinho, but beaten to the punch by Murillo.
Yeah, City at the moment, when they're playing their football, they're finding a bit of space in those wide areas, whether it's Mateus Nunes or Savinho, Nico O'Reilly on the left side. They're able to find a way out. So far, Forest have yet to achieve that. Applied a bit of pressure, turned the ball over once or twice, found themselves a little bit further up the field without really getting a 2-on-1 in a wide area or getting somebody in a position to give Chris Wood something to attack. Got to try and achieve that pretty soon.
More prominent the work of Savinho and Mateus Nunes down the right flank. Capable of doing similar damage on the other side. Well, they're looking likely to qualify for the Champions League. They're leading an FA Cup semi-final here. And their problems are other people's major success stories.
Yeah, they are.
Bernardo Silva. With a roving commission at the moment. Well, Chris Wood retrieves it for Forest. Kovacic's desire to get there, very evident once more. But while the appetite is unquestioned, they've not been successful in winning it back this time.
A lot of running in there for Elliot Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White. I mean, they're very generous in that respect anyway, but having to cover a lot of ground. And this pitch starts to hurt. 15 minutes from the end of the game.
Neatly done by Wood. And Gibbs-White has found the pass. Hudson-Odoi on the border of offside. Wood waits! And the flag does ultimately go up.
Yeah. Was always just off there, Callum Hudson-Odoi. But that's better, look, that's where you find pocket of space. But that ball has got, I tell you, it's very close. It's a pretty sharp call, that. When that come across, that's a really good sliding challenge from Josko Gvardiol there, piling back to deny Chris Wood.
A glimmer.
Yeah, but that's how close it can be. When you knock that ball forward up in the air towards Chris Wood or any of those Forest players, you need someone challenging for it, then looking for that second ball. Where's it going to drop? Can I get on it? And then look to release people quickly.
What he's been able to contribute to this game, Chris Wood has looked sharp, hasn't he?
Yes, yes he has. I think Chris is one of those strikers. He knows what he's good at. You just want to start dropping in on the halfway line, receiving the ball in tight areas. That's not what he does. What he does want to do, he'll stay away from all of that and then try and get in behind a defender. Anything up in the air, you want him going after it.
Well, Kovacic again out of a tight spot, but a rare blemish on an exemplary first 34 minutes. Forest in the mood to take anything they can get. Here's Gibbs-White, a player with the talent to turn this semi-final, given the opportunity. And the hunger too, but that's a foul. Well, in the opinion of the one man that matters.
Yeah. Certainly Marmoush and Nico O'Reilly get very close. From Michael Oliver's position, he probably doesn't see enough movement on the ball. But that's what you have to do. When the opportunity is there to try and turn it over, to try and win it, then you have to commit to that. Can't stand off and admire the blue shirts knocking it around from side to side and waiting. There does come a point in a game where you feel like you need to engage and really start to apply some pressure. And I think they're up to speed now, Forrest. Took them 20+ minutes. But I think they'll feel a bit better as they're, where are we, 35 minutes, that they're up and running now a bit.
As the time-worn phrase goes, caught cold.
Yeah, they were initially, weren't they?
Grealish. Savino. Anderson in potential trouble if he tried to make a challenge there. Silva. It's a real luxury, isn't it, for Manchester City in the FA Cup this season, getting into a lead first. Hasn't happened since the demolition of near neighbours Salford in round 3. It's been very much the hard way, for Forest the long way.
Yeah. Yeah, and the importance, Dan, of scoring on this pitch first. Don't overlook that. Evidence of that yesterday. And Villa never really got going yesterday at all. Palace, congratulations to them, played very, very well. Scored first and never looked like relinquishing it, did they?
Steady days, the third final of this competition. Yet to claim a major prize. To face one of two clubs with an enviable roll of honour. Marmouche. It's picked off by Toffolo.
Yeah, Harry Toffolo and Zach Abbott have to tuck in alongside them centre-halves, but whenever City are looking to switch it in one out to those wide areas, they've got to be getting out to close down as quick as they can. Good interception that time, we saw from Toffolo.
Good harrying there by Abbott. Stepping into midfield and making a challenge there.
He's played as well as anyone, Nico O'Reilly, so far. Comfortable stepping into those crowded midfield areas.
A player destined for heady heights, and he's a long way up the mountain already. Anderson tussling with his usual commitment and vigour. Grealish. That's Milenkovic. Kovacic. Bernardo Silva, now the red shirts converge. But ultimately to no reward. Eventually Danilo makes a telling challenge. Silva wanted a free kick, which he won't get.
I think he'll be pleased with the way that his team have got about it in the last 15-20 minutes. I do. I think it gives him reason to be a little bit more optimistic about the second period. Not going to be easy, and it's going to be a time in that second period where Forest are going to have to squeeze and press in numbers and go man for man at the back, one-on-one, 2v2, etc., in order to really try and get back in it. And then City can look very dangerous like that. That's good pressure.
We'll see if it can ultimately pay here. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Toffolo fed by Gibbs-White. Guardiola.
Brilliant play from Guardiola there.
Coming a long way from his station to deal with it. Well, we together marvelled at his performances in Qatar in the colours of Croatia. Possibly played a lot more football at left back than he would have desired, but in that position, what a performer.
Brilliant. He just goes about, he's nothing fussy about what Josko Gvardiol does. Seen him score some great goals for City, scored some crackers for them, really has, but he's a top player.
Switch for Mateus Nunes. Silken touch. A searching cross that only finds the boot of Abbott. O'Reilly to Grealish. Marmouche. Abbott has conceded a foul. But, really not cowed or daunted by the reputations of those he's facing.
Yeah, once he saw Marmouche going back, and he thought he'd get after him. Right idea. Just a little heavy-handed, so I've got to be careful now.
Well, the young man will hope it's not a costly concession as Bernardo Silva and Marmouche plot. Guardiola in there, Diaz too. Bernardo Silva towards Gvardiol, and that's a timely intervention by Toffolo. Well, doing things all their own way. A decision that did not go down well. Well, Wembley, for understandable reasons, holds a special place in his heart, but the zenith of his playing and managerial career, surely the twin triumphs in this stadium, old and new, with Barcelona in the Champions League. Well, European Cup as it still was when Ronald Koeman cracked that free kick in against Sampdoria.
Yeah, I do. I remember that one. He could strike a dead ball, couldn't he, Ronald Koeman? Beautifully.
And venomously.
The official has indicated a minimum of 1 minute added time. 1 minute.
So a minimum of 1 added minute at the end of the first half of a semi-final in which Manchester City have dictated terms from the off.
Yeah, started brilliantly, City, didn't they? Knocked it around with real authority, got their goal. Looked like they could add to it. Forest have slowly got back into the game.
Closing in on the interval. In the position they perhaps feared would be a good deal worse. About 20 minutes into this match. So the curtain falls on a first half which had an electric start. Inside 2 minutes, Manchester City in front on a ground where they produced quick goals in the past. Rico Lewis playing in midfield and taking the opportunity that fell his way. City in control for the most part, but some Forest glimmers and hope for them as they go in at the interval, Andy.
Definitely. Look, whenever you're one down, no matter who you're playing in any game, you are still very much in it. Of course, they need more involvement from the likes of Chris Wood and Callum Hudson-Odoi. But the game will stretch, and we'll probably see 10 minutes into the second period, you'll start to see a little more room developing on that pitch, and that may allow Morgan Gibbs-White and some of his boys a little bit more room to run in.
Well, City in charge. Forest will hope the old adage applies and this semi-final is a game of two halves. Half-time, Manchester City 1, Nottingham Forest 0.
Yeah, Daniel's right. They certainly will hope for that. It was some start, wasn't it, from Manchester City? The very, very early goal, superbly taken by Rico Lewis. A real shock to the system for Nottingham Forest, and indeed for the Forest fans, of course, enjoying a day out at Wembley that their season so far most certainly deserves, but not the most enjoyable start for them. Manchester City leading at half-time by a goal to nil. It could be a lot worse. We can take a look at the highlights of that first half. Yeah, so Manchester City making the perfect start. Savinho playing the 1-2. Classic Manchester City in many ways. You can see Lewis drifting into position. This was Kovacic and this was Lewis. And as Andy Townsend said, there were bodies all around, but no one closed him down. And what a start that was. He does really well to pick it up here, Lewis. Great first touch out from his feet. See how he opens up his body and fires it hard and low. And nothing that the excellent Matt Sells could do about this one. Super goal. What a stage to score it on. What a moment for Lewis and indeed for his coach. Well, at that point you worried a bit for Nottingham Forest. Zach Abbott kept his cool most impressively. This was Marmoush, and we know that he can hit those rather better than that. Did have Lewis running ahead of him, but went for it himself, and there was more City pressure. Not that they've had a whole host of chances here. We talked before the game about O'Reilly and the contributions he's made, and here was nearly another. That would have been some goal for a cup semi-final, wouldn't it? What confidence in the young man. Couple of spectacular turns. Playground stuff, and then fired just wide. And Forest haven't offered a great deal, and in fact this was a positive moment, although Callum Hudson-Odoi was eventually adjudged to have been offside, but it was just a sign of what they could do. Squared it for Chris Wood, but it wouldn't have counted anyway. But it was mighty close, the decision, and it just gave you an idea, didn't it? The Forest can hurt Manchester City. Well, let's have a statistical look at that first half now. There have been 6 attempts from Manchester City, only one of those on target, and that was the early goal. 2 corners, 1 to none. 3 fouls committed apiece. Possession, well, it's massive, isn't it? 75% to just 25, but Forest doing little so far. Still in the game, though. And what of the scorer of the early goal? His only shot, of course, his only shot on target. 92% pass completion rate, 4 forward passes, 4 of the 24 in all. These touch maps are always interesting, and this is the one for Mateo Kovacic, who set up the goal for Lewis. 76 touches in all, 67 passes, a completion rate, not surprisingly with him, very, very high, 94% in all. Well, these top 5 stats, always interesting as well. This is the top 5 duels won so far in the game. And Elliot Anderson and Nico O'Reilly both joint top with 6. Chris Wood with 4, Kovacic and Silva both with 4 apiece as well. And in terms of touches in the opposition penalty area, Savinho has led the way. Grealish and Marmoush with 2 apiece. Anderson the only player who's touched the ball in the opposition area for Nottingham Forest, and Diaz with 1 as well. Now, Crystal Palace met Aston Villa in the weekend's first semi-final, and Martin Tyler and Stuart Robson were watching for us.
Skip through everybody, and then first real chance.
I think he tried to slice across it here, or slice it into that far corner.
And Mateta. But it's not going to count.
And that's the threat, playing the ball in behind. Yes, the defender's favourite to it. Slightly overruns it, and the referee decides that it's a foul by Mateta.
That's a mistake by Pau Torres, charged down by Sarr. Suddenly Palace are fancying this. Eze! Oh! They are fancying it. He stands and takes a salute, a statue of success. Emirates Eze with a semi-final sensation.
Well, I'm not sure the pass was made for him, but he certainly made the most of it. Scored that great goal against Fulham in the last round. And on his right foot, he just sweeps it beyond Martinez. Really good strike from Eze.
Listen, back pedaling, and he keeps it out. Konsa coming in. Villa not done yet in this attack. Kamada gets it away.
It's a jump well here. Great leap from him. Heads it down, does everything right, really.
It's a very good start.
Yeah, it's almost gone past him, hasn't it?
Eze. Mitchell was a little bit lucky. Trying to feed it in. Comes out to Wharton. Ooh, what's Anthony Taylor going to make of this penalty? Eze caught. We do have VAR, of course, so it will be checked. Stuart Robson.
Well, it's clever play by Wharton. It looked as though Wharton was going to shoot. And instead he passes it into the run of Eze. Well, he does catch him. That won't be changed.
It's a really big moment in the semi-final for Crystal Palace, and Mateta is missed. Martinez takes the credit, but really it was his mistake. And what will be the outcome? How costly can that be?
Well, massive let-off here for Aston Villa.
Rodgers. Good work by Wharton. Here's Sarr. 2-0. Ismail Assar just drilled it home.
What a part that Wharton plays in this. When the ball's played into his opposing midfield player, he comes and wins the ball, and he wins it fairly. He doesn't dive in. Tielemans is a bit slow, tries to play it round the corner. Link-up play with Mateta. I thought he was going to play it wide, but he strikes right through the back of the ball. What a good strike.
It's quick work from Watkins to get there first. Crossed by Rogers. Henderson with a punch. It comes down to Leon Bailey. A lot of bodies to try and blast it past there. And he couldn't manage it. And it must have gone off a Villa player, I guess.
Might have been Pau Torres that was down in the box. As you said, good play from Ollie Watkins. A nice ball played in. Took his time. And it was Pau Torres.
Nketiah. And can Sarr get away here and really settle it? Ismail Assar. He does! What a way to wrap it up. He scores 2 against Aston Villa again.
Well, talk about a composed finish. Yes, we know he's got pace, Sarr. But he keeps it away from Cox the whole way. He waits for Martinez to go one way and just lifts it into the other side. It's a really top-class finish.
And here, Manchester City lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0 in the second semi-final. But what a remarkable first semi-final it was. I think an awful lot of people fancied Aston Villa after the season they've had to make it through to the FA Cup final. But Crystal Palace, who'd had such a good record against them, I know a lot of Villa fans were scared. They say that Palace always perform well against them, and they did so again. And an awful lot of criticism for Unai Emery and his team selection. The preference of Pau Torres over Tyrone Mings, for example, would be one of them. But in the end, it was Palace who won it so convincingly. And when you bear in mind they had a penalty that Mateta missed as well, but they stuck to their guns after that. Massively impressive. And Ismail Assar, who has such a good record against Villa, managed to do it again. The second time he'd scored 2 against them, and he got the assist as well, of course, for that wonderful opening goal by Ebere Eze. It was a great performance, and Crystal Palace fans are going to have a day, aren't they, at Wembley on May the 17th. What a day that will be. 2 previous FA Cup finals, both against Manchester United. At the moment, their third is also going to be against a team from Manchester, but against a team from the other half of Manchester. And the question now, today at Wembley, is what can Nottingham Forest produce in the second half? They've hung on to the coattails here at Manchester City. City really impressive in the opening 10 minutes or so. Then they controlled the game to a point, but 1-0, of course, is by no means convincing. And Forest are still very much in the game. If City could add a second, then that, you feel, might just be the end of that. It would take some coming back from, although never forget what Coventry did against Manchester United last season, so nearly coming back from 3 to make their way into that FA Cup final. So never write anybody off, but you just feel that Forest maybe need to take a risk or two, and with that, of course, comes serious danger, and they know it too. Well, no surprise to see birthday boy Anthony Elanga warming up, and that to me looks like the kind of warm-up that might lead to him coming on. He looks almost ready to go, doesn't he, with tracksuit off and all ready. So maybe we're going to see Elanga at the start of the second half. Maybe, just maybe, Nuno's going to be a little bit more attacking here and try and cause City problems with pace. We've seen that one moment when Hudson-Odoi, who scored the winner against Manchester City when they met at home in the league, we've seen him cause them trouble down that right-hand side. You wonder if Elanga, who's been such a good foil for Hudson-Odoi all season, could be the one to cause them serious problems here, because someone has to. I don't think Forest are going to find a way back into this via a defensive performance and a lucky set piece or something like that. If they sit, they're going to probably concede again, and now the players come out for the second half. So they're ready to try and create a massive comeback, to try and make something happen. Back to our commentary team, Andy Townsend, and first, Daniel Mann.
Forest fired, they hope, for this second half, and the imminent introduction of Anthony Elanga, they certainly hope, will help them a great deal in their quest to retrieve a semi-final that, if City had carried on in the vein in which they started, could already have been beyond them.
Yeah, first 20 minutes they were very comfortable, goal in front and looking like they had too much, but I think absolutely the right time to introduce Anthony Elanga. I think very important that they get lots of energy out there, that they have people really prepared to get at City when they get the chance. As I mentioned, the game will start to open up. It always does. And there will be a little more room for Forest. They've got to take care of it and try and get it to people like Anthony Elanga.
Well, when Nuno talks, you listen. He might have had to cajole him somewhat. Perhaps imagined an FA Cup semi-final taking place on his 23rd birthday, that is, the stage would be set for him, but not from the start. He could yet, though, make a significant contribution. Manchester City return. Rico Lewis inside 2 minutes with an opening goal as Forest were caught completely cold.
Has been replaced by number 21, Anthony Elanga.
So City 45 minutes away from a Wembley return. Now Nottingham Forest introducing the considerable talents of Anthony Elanga at the start of this second period. Danilo, the player that he has replaced.
Yeah, Nicholas Dominguez sitting now a little deeper. Elliot Anderson and Morgan Gibbs-White slightly in front of them, and of course now they have that real genuine threat in the wide areas. Got to use it. Got to be prepared to maybe go a little more direct to get those two flyers involved, Forest. And of course you risk possession in doing that. That's a risk you have to take. You're one down in an FA Cup semi-final. No point in waiting and thinking and wondering. You've got to make it happen.
And an early opportunity to do so. Callum Hudson-Odoi. Elanga waits. And the stage was set for him. Well, opportunities do not come better than that one.
Was that first touch?
It was.
I think that's literally his first touch. Look at the speed, look. Brilliant ball in from Hudson-Odoi. Goal is begging, desperate to just make good contact with that and knock that in the back of the net. Oh, and he just drags it wide of the post. What a chance.
Well, Hudson-Odoi streaking down the opposite flank. And the substitution threatened to pay handsome dividends within seconds.
Oh, what a chance. Brilliant play. Won the loose ball in the middle of the park, immediately fed it left towards Callum Hudson-Odoi. Anthony Elanga doing the right thing on the opposite side. You get yourself in the box, you get in around that penalty spot area.
Grealish coming back from an offside position.
I mean, it's a brilliant delivery. Could go left foot, he's let it come across his body. If he goes left foot, it's easier to sweep that in some ways, but it's not the natural side for Anthony Elanga. As I mentioned, first touch of the game. My goodness, what an introduction that would have been.
But it's raised the spirits of their voluble followers. And raised their own levels of belief. Anderson protests it, but handball is the verdict.
So already through the City minds goes the thought, OK, it's different now.
Yeah, exactly. They'll need to pick it up a little bit. They will know that Forest are going to be a little more aggressive and that they perhaps will go a bit longer. So they need to also take great care. They've got to add to the one they have. A long way to go yet in this game, so they'll want the cushion of something more.
It's lovely play by Lewis there. Matheus Nunes retreating to start again. O'Reilly. Lewis. Matheus Nunes and Lewis again. On for Savinho, back to Lewis. Well, others were waiting. Took the route towards goal. Potential here for Manchester City, and Sells has to work. And Kovacic! Oh, remarkable!
Well, Matt Sells has produced plenty of moments of heroism in this FA Cup run. None bigger than that.
Wow, what a moment that is. Gets his hands to that one. Now he's got to get back up on his feet very quickly and get back on the line. It's that handball there that the City players are protesting about. It's come off Zach Abbott. I don't... Look, he's not made himself bigger. He's not tried to really do anything significant to block that. I think the arms are pretty natural there as he twists his body around. Brilliant work, sorry.
That is precisely the verdict from Andy Madley, that it was a natural position, a natural twisting motion, the words.
One Sells is rooted! And Manchester City's lead is doubled! Josko Gvardiol powers it home! And looks to have booked a Wembley return.
Looked a little too easy, that, didn't it? Yes, decent ball in. Goalkeeper gets blocked a little bit. Look, all the blue shirts around Matt Sells. Actually, not enough. He steps forwards as if he's going to come and have a go at that, and then doesn't keep coming. He then stands his ground. He's in no man's land. Gvardiol's just only got eyes for the ball. It drifts over the top of Murillo. Brilliant contact. When that goalie steps and looks like he's coming to get it, lots of those red shirts tend to stop. That is a real blow for Nottingham Forest, but it's a wonderful header from Josko Gvardiol, and another really important goal for his team.
The 6th of the season, his first in the FA Cup. And quite the response to that moment of great hope, and now moment of great regret for Nottingham Forest at the start of this second half.
Yeah, amazing how games...
Well, Gibbs White is in here. Well, Gvardiol, back to the day job, if you like,
yes,
with a challenge of mighty magnitude.
Just wonder if Morgan Gibbs White actually could just put that header on target. I think he's trying to cushion that into the path of a teammate. I was just going to say, amazing how these games, they hinge and they swing, and those pivotal moments when you had that Elanga chance and then a couple of minutes later, City now have two.
Head's not dipping. Dominguez. Gap plugged by Lewis. He plugs away, driving forwards. for the reward of a free kick. Well, he's walked this walk before Nuno. He knows that a 2-goal lead does not provide certainty in an FA Cup semi-final, because his Wolves side were in that position only to let it slip against Watford.
They were a little shell-shocked, aren't they, the Forest fans? Just when they thought they might be getting back in the game, all of a sudden it slid away from them a little further. No, not impossible, but very, very difficult now. From this point onwards, no room for error. They've got to get it right, both boxes.
Savino drives. And Marmoush is in there. Grealish, and that's a foul.
Great run, Savino. Brilliant run. Taking Toffolo right to the byline, cuts it back. Marmoush looked like he was going to get it on the end of it. Yellow card for Jack Grealish for a raised boot there.
Just having a discreet run over that incident in the video booth, just to check whether there was anything more in it.
He's got a free run there, Josko Gvardiol. Nobody checking that run or blocking him or denying him space. He just runs straight onto the edge of the 6-yard box, powers it home. Those big guys from the penalty spot area, if you allow them to run and get at and attack the ball from those corners, then they're difficult to stop.
Forest now in big bother under the arch. Into the stretch for O'Reilly. Penny, for your thoughts.
Yeah, just such a great chance. The more I see it, it's kind of it's something better that you might go with his weaker foot, his left foot in this case. Certainly solid contact with his left foot. He could have gone either side of the goalkeeper. With his right, he's always struggling a little bit, waiting for it, and just drags it wide.
It's 11 goals, incidentally, since the start of last season for Josko Gvardiol. No defender in the Premier League has scored more in that period. Moves level with Fabian Schär. And it's certainly one to treasure. As well, he's won the German Cup twice. Semi-finals not always been to his taste. He was sent off in one for Leipzig 2 years ago. Tending to matters again there. Here's Bernardo Silva. Not worried by, but keenly aware of what was in his rearview mirror. This is Ruben Diaz now for City. Lewis. Certainly the weight of options on this side of the field, but now Lewis will pick it up. Brought forward by Ruben Diaz. Grealish. Was he fouled? Yes, is the verdict. Milenkovic may dispute it. City in a mood to get moving quickly. The referee not. Outnumbered, they may be, not outsung.
No.
Certainly not right now.
They're loud now.
Clipped by Bernardo Silva. Murillo didn't get there, but no harm done for Forest.
Well, very much that 2 up on this pitch, keep the ball. No better team to do that than his. So they'll just want to make sure that they take good care of it, wait for the right moment to potentially add to what they have. It's Nuno that's got to come up with solutions now and maybe play another card soon in terms of a sub.
Mamouche got that one wrong. It's a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Now able to get things moving. Fleet of foot from Ilanga. Elliot Anderson. Hudson-Odoi. Dominguez now dropping back into the deeper position. They search for Gibbs-White. Gvardiol meets it. Kovacic composed as ever. Mateus Nunes. From the Forest perspective, it's very easy for them to switch decisively to a back three. They've given it away. They have actually had a greater grip on possession since the second half got underway.
Yeah. No surprises in some ways. Once City get that second goal, they don't have to squeeze and force issues quite as much.
Oh, glimmer of an opportunity there for Chris Wood, but Ortega has been a virtual spectator for much of the game. Ready when he was required. Mamouche, and there's Abbott. Mamouche. And Bernardo Silva able to drift away from Abbott. Murillo able to deal with the cross as Savinho arrived.
Great play, Bernardo Silva. Lovely work that. When he gives you the ball, he always usually stands there and says, you can give it to me back if you want to, but this time he runs beyond the red shirt, right to the byline, and drifts that ball beautifully across the face of that 6-yard line. And now he has the chance to whip something in from the opposite side of the field.
There's something about the name Silva and Manchester City. Special moments. And this time they do enough to deal with that delivery. Mamouche. Grealish. Mamouche. Oh, and Sells. And his angle's covered.
Good play that. Jack Grealish shaped to shoot, then gave it back to Mamouche. Takes it on their left foot. Might well have wrapped the crossbar and gone in that. He's had Important stop from Matt Sells.
Well, they call him the Wall at Forest. He's a mighty presence. Marmoush getting it back from Grealish. And Sells has to work hard again. And Forest with a battle on just to clear their lines. How many suggested that Lewis and Gvardiol would be the match winners today?
Good point.
Is the potential scenario. Savinho's in there. It evades him. But Marmoush can retrieve. Try threatening to run away from Nottingham Forest here. Abbott eyes on the ball. Forest do have plenty of running in the legs of Ilanga. And now Wood. Hudson-Odoi and Ilanga on hand, and Gibbs-White's in the picture here. Elsewhere in that box, Gibbs-White! Oh! He's so unlucky! Fractions away from a foothold in the semi-final.
Oh, what a strike. What a brilliant hit from Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, it's just absolutely flush, this one. Look at that. That is so unlucky. It deserved to be a little kinder. It really did. He hit it so well. Ortega just watches that one go by and keeps his fingers crossed as it does, yeah. That's unlucky, it really is.
Chasing back, he committed a foul which has seen him go into the referee's notebook. Just every so often there has been a moment to lift Forest spirits and hopes. And Milenkovic, well out of his station, trying to force the issue. This is Anderson. Hudson-Odoi working it back.
I think it's really important, and Forest, to their credit, are showing belief that they can still turn this round, having a go. Absolutely right, they do that. The supporters desperate for them to try and keep their foot to the floor.
Gibbs-White, it goes without saying, already a season well beyond expectation with their performances in the Premier League. And still clinging to hopes they're growing ever distance of a route to silverware. It's Anderson. Coach that's taken Wolverhampton Wanderers back into Europe, that's threatening to take Nottingham Forest back into Europe for the first time in a generation and more since Frank Clark's time at the helm. And they succumbed to the brilliance of Jurgen Klinsmann and co. in Bayern Munich in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. They went on to win that trophy that year, Bayern, against a Bordeaux side that contained burgeoning talent by the name of Zinedine Zidane.
Wow. And some more changes down imminent. Again, Nuno making sure he keeps those energy levels to the max.
And when he left, Sangare right. Dominguez. Toffolo marauding ahead of Hudson-Odoi here. And Wood with at least something to think about there. Ortega able to gratefully grab it.
Yeah, Guardiola did well there as well. Just blocked that run of Chris Wood before he could get in and around Ortega. Not really had anything, Chris Wood, today, has he, to genuinely attack in that box. Had his back to goal for pretty much most of it. I would imagine Awoniyi is going to replace him, but we'll see.
He played a critical part in the cup story at St James's Park, Exeter.
Could he go two up top for a bit? Go a 4-4-2, all in, and just serve it forward to those two guys and see what happens. Whoa!
Oh, and a mistake has opened the door! Oh! Gibbs White curses the woodwork again. What a mighty let-off for Manchester City. Oh. Well, he was given a gift, he refused to accept it. And Forest are going to have plenty of regrets come the end of the night if they don't turn this around. Well, you're almost rubbing your eyes in disbelief there. Challenged by Murillo on Grealish. Must have been borderline as far as the referee was concerned.
Cook Gavardio here. He doesn't even play that. It's just pressure that from Dominguez. And oh, incredible. Just gets away a yard away from him, doesn't it? Morgan Gibbs White. The angle is a tight one. Still expecting him to score. Nuno can't believe it. Cannot believe his team haven't found a way there.
Well, the answer to your question, Andy, whether they would go with the two strikers is no. Chris Wood departs. Elliot Anderson also. So, freshness rather than an obvious change of strategy. Jack Grealish also goes off, and a man who has made an indelible impact both in Manchester City's history and on the FA Cup is his replacement, İlkay Gündoğan, who's seen so many great occasions here, scored indeed in the colours of a previous club in the Champions League final here, a pressure penalty for Borussia Dortmund, and I'm finding it hard to believe that was 12 years ago now.
Wow. Well, the changes that Nuno has made really have got to try and have an instant impact.
Well, Forest, by the finest of margins on a couple of occasions, yet to have a shot on target.
I mean, the volley from Gibbs White was a sensational strike. The second one, you kind of, even though it's tight, the angle wasn't easy. You're expecting him to put it in.
He's a player that I've been privileged to witness all through his journey through the ranks at Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he promised so much, and he's certainly delivering now at the highest level. But there are moments that could rankle with him for the rest of his life. Kovacic drifting into inviting space. This is Marmoush, and now Kovacic, and now Gündoğan. Nico O'Reilly, fleet of foot, and it might yet run for him. Can he turn it back? Well, Abbott shut the door on him.
Do you know, it's lovely play there. Watch the way he pauses, young Nico O'Reilly here. just waits and just sees a little opportunity to maybe shift that ball to others in a better position. Lovely skill and great composure. And if City do just string those passes together along the 18-yard line, they are going to create chances and put this game to bed once and for all.
Into massed red ranks in the near post area. Gundogan will get it back though. Essentially incisive for Mamouche. Gundogan once more. Gundogan. It's pretty tormenting and wearying for Forest. The focus needing to be almost beyond 100%, but they've kept them away from goal.
You can see Gundogan's instructions since he's come on, keep it. That will be very much the order of the day from Pep. And you've seen that 2 or 3 times where he could have had a shot, could have given it to others, maybe could have got a shot away, decided just to hang on to it, and they've still got it.
Kovacic finding a route to Savinho. Well, into an inviting enough area, all right, but the team in blue are not men in a hurry at the moment. The tie is in their grip. A place in another FA Cup final is theirs to lose. They've got to keep their eye on the ball in every sense in what remains. Murillo. Langer darting. And he's been found. Same side of the field as Hudson-Odoi. Only hoping something might come his way, but not on this occasion. Who's had wretched luck with injuries.
Yeah. I mean, that may have been in Nuno's thoughts pre-game, because just seeing the shape of the Forest team now, it does have better intent in it when you had Hudson-Odoi and Anthony Elanga out on the field.
Mamouche driving at them. And he's got some co-conspirators on hand here. Matheus Nunes somewhat uncharacteristically on his heels.
I don't think it was the best ball from Savinho.
And more activity in the Manchester City technical area. Messrs Foden and Doku about to enter stage right. As far as City are concerned in this second half. Elanga tangling with O'Reilly, and the reward is a free kick. Michael Oliver saw malintent from the impressive Manchester City youngster, and this opens the door for Forest.
Just perhaps grabbed him a little too much there, Nico O'Reilly. There wasn't a lot in that, you know. That was a good ball over the top, and that was a real foot race between the two of them. I don't think he did an awful lot wrong there, and he's unlucky to get a yellow card.
So it's the man from Malmö, who knows Manchester very well, who is poised over this free kick for Nottingham Forest. And it's defended in straightforward fashion, really, by Gundogan. Oh, if Rico Lewis could have got a hold of that, there were big problems for Forest.
There were 2-on-1 there if he had. Going to waste that wide free kick moments ago. Anthony Elanga, they've got to beat that first man. And Murillo and Milenkovic travel up into the opposing 18-yard box. You must give them a chance.
A fairly lengthy wait for respective pairs of substitutes about to come on. Is Forest preparing a double change as well as Manchester City? This is Hudson-Odoi. All the way over to Elanga. And Forest have 5 in the area here. Commitment to numbers. Oh, and the bounce of the ball. Again the post from Awani. And Gibbs White, and a flying Ortega denies it.
Brilliant skill.
Marmoush streaking away. But Milenkovic, the master of the situation, ultimately. Well, Abbott's suffering. I suppose that's no great surprise.
Not sure what he's done there, Zach Abbott. But here's what happened at the other end. Don't know how much Awani knew about this. When it just comes off his heel. Just comes off his heel and wraps the post. Could so easily have gone inside, and then great work from Ortega here, just to make sure it's a comfortable save, really, but a very important one. Morgan Gibbs White on another day, you know, could have had 3.
Well, there has only been one FA Cup semi-final hat-trick since 1958. That was scored by Riyad Mahrez a couple of years ago in the Manchester City colours. But you're right, on another day in a parallel universe somewhere, Morgan Gibbs White is celebrating one. There's Phil Foden. He replaces Savinho, and Jeremy Doku is also going to come on and replace Omar Marmoush. And Marmoush's arrival at Manchester City has underlined Eintracht Frankfurt's reputation as a club to watch, because their recruitment department seems to pull off masterstroke after masterstroke.
Well, here's the goals. They got up and running, didn't they? Rico Lewis very early in the game, before Forest even had a chance to hardly have a kick of the ball. And then this one. Marking's not good enough, not tight enough. Sells looked like he might come and get it, then stopped. But since then, Anthony Elanga, first touch just wide of the post. Morgan Gibbs White, stunning left foot volley. And then some casual play at the back allows him in again. And then I think that angle shows you that there was more room there than perhaps he thought. Could have had another touch and rolled it instead of taking it when he did. Fine margins.
And it's an oft-used phrase because it's true. And there have been some agonising moments for Nottingham Forest, and one for youngster Zach Abbott. That's Jota Silva, who makes an entrance as Abbott makes his exit. And Ramon Sosa also gets an opportunity. Bernardo Silva, and Kovacic wanted it. Sangari with a could have gone anywhere moment, and it went to Phil Foden. Doku. Up against Jota Silva, who is not performing a task he will particularly relish, with him being very much more inclined to the attacking side of the game. The Portuguese Grealish, as he has been forever named.
Well, we saw what Jeremy Doku did in the English Premier League game against Aston Villa at the Etihad last week. Came on, whipped the ball across the box, and Matheus Nunes knocked it in at the far post and put that game to bed, and he'll want to look to do something similar here.
Should say to Jota Silva that the comparison with Grealish is about more than just the hairstyle. Broke off Awani. Well, we're moving into miracle territory, but I've seen a few of those on English soil in recent times. Ramon Sosa trying to get there, he does! Oh, and it must be, but no!
Flag's gone up, not sure what for, whether it had just gone out before Ramon Sosa could actually get this, or maybe an offside call, which is extremely tight. Don't think that it had gone out. Had that one have gone in the back of the net, then the VAR guys would have been all over that.
Langer with cause to beat the ground in frustration. That fine marginal offside in which the free kick has been awarded. And Manchester City very, very close to another FA Cup final, competition that they have won on 7 occasions. And it would be a 14th final. One shot on target for Nottingham Forest, and that's a damning statistic given the situations they've had in this second half in particular. Hopeful claim for a free kick from Ramon Sosa.
Well, one shot it may be on target, but there is a way. If you're going to lose an FA Cup semi-final, then I think the way that Forest have gone about it is the way to go, because, yes, statistically, you'd like to have, you need more than one on target, but that could easily have been 4, 5, but for the width of a post.
Well, an abundance of really good opportunities. And the pre-match words of Morgan Gibbs-White, talking to the domestic broadcasters here, are ringing in my ears at the moment. We've got to be clinical.
Yeah, prophetic indeed.
Awani, they're searching for him again. Ruben Diaz. Card for Ortega. Leisurely Sunday afternoon mood at this point, with Manchester City's lead looking decisive despite the threatening moments that Forest have produced. Sangare making the challenge on Doku. Slick again from Kovacic, but not so from Bernardo Silva.
Wow.
Hudson-Odoi. Elanga just not quite making the most of that opportunity there, Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, what a chance that was. Oh, poor ball. Callum Hudson-Odoi gave Anthony Elanga there. Should have kept going, travel with the ball. Because the blue shirts eventually can't keep backpedaling. Someone's got to come out to the ball. Didn't need to play it when he did.
Substitution for Manchester City, number 8, Mateo Kovacic.
Kovacic, such a vital figure for Manchester City today, takes his leave.
As ever, Mateo Kovacic always keeps chugging away and keeps his team ticking over. He got it all up and running with that clever little ball to Rico Lewis that he duly dispatched past Sells to give his team the lead, but another good performance from him.
Nico Gonzalez is his replacement. That's the 3 windows used up. So the sellout Wembley date on Kevin De Bruyne's farewell tour is going to be the final, by the look of it anyway.
It does, would appear that way. Yeah, I thought he played very well. Bernardo Silva, apart from that one square ball moments ago that was a really poor one, has also been excellent for City. And those two guys rarely concede possession.
Might yet run for Gibbs White here. Ruben Diaz ensuring that all is calm from a City point of view. Well, they might be tempted to take a tape measure to those goalposts. At the end of the day, Nottingham Forest. There will be a minimum of 4 added minutes at the end.
The official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes added time.
Langer looking to get away once more. Well, FA Cup semi-finals have not always been success stories for Manchester City in this season, regardless of FA Cup success or Champions League qualification will not be regarded as one.
Today's Emirates FA Cup semi-final player of the match
as the
is Manchester
Poznan
City's
gets into full swing,
Mateo Kovacic.
there is potential for a significant prize to be claimed. Crystal Palace will hope very much that it is their day on May the 17th, and well, you know, it's hard to resist getting involved in that. Doesn't give you the best view of the game.
No.
But it was something they picked up on their adventures in the UEFA Cup in the early part of this century, when it was all rather different for Manchester City. That you and I remember, Andy.
Well,
but
we do.
an increasingly low number of people do.
To their credit, they started the game today terrific. Started the game, as I mentioned, you know, playing positively, playing forward. And Forest never really reacted quick enough.
Milenkovic back in there. They at least want to make it uneasy for Manchester City. Blemish the clean sheet.
I think it's fair to say, Dan, this has got to go in.
Langer's corner, and they'll get another one. Suggestion of handball by one or two Forest players. The video assistant referee Andy Madley suggesting that there was nothing in it. A bit more lift on that one, and it'll come out to Hudson-Odoi. Drifting in round the back with Jota Silva, and City have made heavy weather of this. And Ortega looking to get Doku away for one final flourish. Well, that defines the word cynical.
Clever play that from Jeremy Doku. waited for the two red shirts to come over, as they had to try and pinch the ball off him, and then skip between the two, drew the foul, gives everybody a breather, can keep the ball down this left side now, don't even need to put this in the box. Really good play.
Ramon Sosa added to the notebook of Michael Oliver.
It's City. Success in their 7th successive FA Cup semi-final. And they will be able to right the wrongs of last year in the big showpiece occasion on May the 17th. Disappointing season by their supremely lofty standards could yet end with silverware in their grasp. For Forest, well, there are ways to lose a football match, and with what they produced in the second half, multiple scares and failures by the finest of margins, have given their all in the second period. Unlikely sources for the two goals that counted for so much. Rico Lewis catching Forest cold inside 2 minutes. And Joško Gvardiol's free header, a priceless goal for Manchester City. It's FA Cup semi-final defeat again for Nuno. And forlorn Nottingham Forest faces, but some pride in their second half performance,
yes,
Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. Second half, no complaints at all with that. Very, very close to registering, and then you never know what might have happened from there. Unfortunately for Morgan Gibbs-White, more than anybody. He was just denied by the post twice, and good save from Ortega with the header. But congratulations to Manchester City. I mentioned, started the game in the correct manner, in the manner that they always want to, with the ball, asking questions, got themselves in front, and then always did enough to see this one out. But for Nuno, great pride in the way that his boys went about it. Whether or not he would have a slight regret on not starting Hudson-Odoi and Elanga from the start on either side, well, that's something only he will perhaps discuss, and maybe he might get asked a bit later. But the here and now, City in another final against Crystal Palace. We all look forward to that. Congratulations to them.
Yes, heartbreak for Gibbs-White and co. But City march on to the final. They've got the winning habit, and there will be the chance of salvation for a disappointing season by their standards against Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final. The final score here, Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2.
And so in the end, as we suspected it might be, it was Manchester City, and they will play Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final. City with a chance of adding more silverware, but a chance too of some salvation in a disappointing season. The story really was made in the second half of the game. Gvardiol making it 2-0, but then Forest creating a whole host of chances, and Morgan Gibbs-White in particular a little unfortunate. Taiwo Awoniyi hit the post as well. Forest, I think, realised as we headed for the closing moments it really wasn't going to be their day. They gave it everything in the second half. Elanga changed the game. He will have questions indeed, Nuno, about whether or not he should have started Elanga. He didn't. He came on to great effect. They couldn't find a way, and it was Manchester City who make it through to the FA Cup final. We can see now just how they did it. And it started early. Goal inside the opening couple of minutes of the semi-final. Bernardo Silva in control initially. Then Savinho taking it forward, Rico Lewis, the eventual goal scorer involved here. But the goal really made by the surging run and intelligent vision of Mateo Kovacic. First touch from Lewis, opened up his body for the second, and that was 1-0 2 minutes in. He took it supremely well. Two fairly unlikely goal scorers really for City. Certainly not the two names you would have picked. It's a good strike. And how important was this moment? Elanga on as a substitute. Hudson-Odoi out wide, finding Elanga. His first touch, and he wasn't able to find the back of the net. How different the story might have been. How different the story would have been if Elanga had taken what was a golden chance. He goes near post and probably regrets that, and then City punished them pretty much straight away. Lewis initially, and then Lewis's drive saved at the near post by Sells. And then Nunez pushed away again, and then another follow-up from Kovacic, and saved by the feet of Sells. A penalty claim as well, nothing doing there. Ricochet off the arm, and Sells did so well. Zach Abbott, the youngster whose hand it hit. But then from the corner, taken by Marmoush, Gvardiol rising high for 2-0. Forest have looked so good in those kind of areas all season long, but not here. It let them down. Good delivery, fine header. A goal that Nuno will be disappointed to have conceded. And then City trying to pile on the pain. Marmoush, the player cutting inside, finding Grealish. And then Marmoush still driving, and Sells on his way down made a really good save. Just got his fingertips there. But then came the Forest revival, and what a revival it was, led by Elanga. Support here from Chris Wood. And then Gibbs White with the strike, and he's so unlucky. Fabulous contact, he can't believe he hasn't scored. As he hits this, he thinks he has. Hits the bottom part of the bar, doesn't it, when you see it again? It is so close. And then great pressure here from Nicolas Dominguez on Gvardiol. Gibbs White stealing in, and for all the world he'd scored. As it skimmed along the line, it looked like he had, and it's the inside of the far post. He should score, let's be clear, he really should, but he's still a little unlucky. And then City tried to seal it. Good play here from O'Reilly. Fell to him again, and it was blocked away. What a season he's having. So City again failing really to finish things off. Once again you wondered if they might pay the price, because Forest were not yet done. In from Elanga. Played back across, could have gone anywhere, hit Awoniyi, and off the post. Then Gibbs White's header pushed away by Ortega. A flurry of activity. The woodwork struck 3 times by Forest. On another day, it is such a different story. But Manchester City did enough to win it in the end by 2-0. So Manchester City winning it 2-0. They had 14 attempts to 8, 6 on target to 1, but that 1 doesn't really tell the story. There were 3 woodwork hits by Nottingham Forest, 6 corners to 2 for Manchester City, 3 yellow cards to 2 as well, and they had 67% possession. That figure dropped in the second half as Forest roared back into it. So Rico Lewis with that opening goal that turned out to be so crucial. One of his two shots on target, in fact. 40 total passes, 90% completion rate, 8 forward passes in amongst all of that. Here's Mateo Kovacic's touch map, 109 touches in total, 94 passes, and matching that, a 94% pass completion rate for Kovacic, who was everywhere. He was named locally as player of the match, and Morgan Gibbs-White, what a game. 3 shots, only 1 on target, but he twice hit the woodwork. It was agony for him, and he'll remember that second half for a long time. So it is Pep Guardiola and Manchester City who can celebrate. They've got a big game to come. For so long, the kings of English football, the crown has rather slipped this season, but they have a chance to put that right against the Palace at Wembley on May the 17th. Save the date. Well done to City from us. Bye-bye.